take a lot to win. Can't afford to lose. You and me gotta do our part. Nothing else to choose. We gotta stay at home, wear a mask, even though that's a lot to ask. Gotta turn this thing around. Gotta let it get us down. No, gotta turn this thing around. Can't let it get us down. Oh no. Well, you've been missing all your friends. Oh, you're even missing school. You're gonna be with them all again. Gonna be so cool. For now we'll stay at home, wear a mask, even though that's a lot to ask. Gonna turn this thing around. Can't let it bring us down. Gonna turn this thing around. Please don't let it get you down. No, no. All right, hey everybody. Mr. Pat again from Windward Boys and Girls Club saying hey, hey, hey. From Windward, Oahu, state of Hawaii, this Kailua Windward Boys and Girls Club. All right, another music thing with lyrics changed for the times we're in. That was a song by a group called the Grateful Dead, very popular group back in the 60s, led by Jerry Garcia, no longer with us, but I want to thank all of them for letting us use that to help get our message out about taking care of each other, staying safe, and we are getting through this. So let's stay the course and do it the right way to protect yourself and others. Okay, we're going to move into our math lesson today, as we're apt to do, and today we're going to continue with that division house stuff. Let me put my guitar down here. And you can see by the board, we're going to be reducing fractions today. So we're going to show you stuff you kind of probably are familiar with a little bit already. And then we're going to show you how to apply the division house to it as well. And along with that, what we'll do, it's kind of cool, is we'll throw some algebra in that'll help you. Okay. So let me get my stuff here, reducing fractions, if you're staying with us note-wise. Now this is something you've been doing for a number of years. I guess they start around 3rd or 4th grade with simple things. So I'm going to show you what you're kind of familiar with. So for problem number 1, we'll start with a fraction, because that's what we're going to do, simplify to lowest terms. And what you've seen happen in the past, you write that down, your teacher will go, you can divide both of those by 2 maybe. There's other things as well, but we choose 2 and we get 18 over 45. And that is reduced, but it's not reduced completely. So again, you look at it and you see what else can go in. If you know your times tables, maybe use 9 this time. And what you end up with is 2 over 5. Nothing goes into both of those, so that is your reduced fraction. So you know how to do that already. I want to show you how to use the division house, and when you do use it, what parts of it to use. So we'll stay with the same example so I can show this and that and how they look. Okay, and we're going to write it. Top number we'll write first. The denominator second. So you're in the same boat. You're right up here thinking about division, so maybe you divide by 2, and we already know that's 18 and that's 45. Don't forget, one beauty of this is you can actually divide down here. So you can go through the long division process if you don't have a calculator and you need help. And then once again, you look at 18 and 45 like we've been doing, and we go, oh, I know 9 goes in. And you get 2/5. So the division house gives you a lot of information. your job is to learn, how do I use it? What parts do I use? So the GCF was this. Okay, that was the first thing we learned how to find. Okay, when you're reducing fractions, you're dividing out the GCF, but you usually do it in steps. If you saw that 18 went into both of those, you'd be head and shoulders above most people, including myself. But you can do it in steps. This way is good. The division house is good. Students like the division house because they learn this one thing and they can apply it all kind of different places. The secret is, how do you use it for reducing? And if you look, here's your reduced fraction. It's always what's left over at the top. So when you see a 2 and a 5, and you remember the numerator was the first thing, so that's your numerator. Denominator was second, so that's your bottom. So the 2/5 that is the correct answer is right there on top. You just got to turn it into a fraction. So that's how you use the division house for basic reducing fractions. Okay, so let's do an example. And this time I'm only going to use the division house. So this will be number 2. Okay, you ready? So we're going to have 120 over 144x. So you guys are in middle school, most of you. If you haven't come up with x's, and if you're in lower grades following this and you haven't dealt with the variables, just write the problem without the x and do it that way. So we are going to make our division house. Top number we'll write first, so numerator in the lead, and then don't forget to include that x. Okay, so I use 2 a lot because if it's even, you can always start there. I'm thinking most people know 120 divided by 2 is 60. If you had 120 bucks and you're going to take half of it, it'd be 60. 2 goes over here, and if you can't do that in your head, 2 goes into 14. 7 times 2 is 14, 0. Bring that 4 down, 2 into 4 2 times. And then this is the secret. Don't forget to bring your variable up. You're probably going to get tired of hearing me say that, but I'm going to say it a lot. Okay? Now, I know that we got more steps. So let's say I look at that and I go, well, dude, I know 6 goes in. 72 divided by 6 is 12. Don't forget to bring your variable up. So you think you want to be done, but if you look, 10 and 12 are both even. So you're right back at that. Oh, I couldn't use one more 2. Okay? I'm going to put that in orange to be consistent here. 5 and 6 times x. Don't forget to bring the variable up. It's worth checking that you did that at the end. Now 5 and 6, that's it. There's nothing else you can do with that. So what happens is you now have your answer. So that is your reduced fraction. You just divide it by pretty simple numbers. You remember to deal with the variable. You can't divide a variable out because even though this has one, that doesn't. So top was first, so that's your top number. That, my friends, is your answer. 5 over 6x. Okay? So that's a way to use it. That's very helpful. You only have to learn one thing. It's like giving you another tool for your math tool belt, if you like it. Again, no one's forcing this. It's just another opportunity for you to learn something and see which one you like best. Okay, cool. One of the neat things about this is it can help you with algebra stuff too. Let's look at a couple of examples here. Some of these you're gonna kind of hard to do in a quick lesson like this. You're going to think you see shortcuts. I would say just embrace what we're showing you today and try not to look for shortcuts yet. Let that happen as it may. So what we're going to do is we are going to write two things. 18x plus 48 over 21x plus, let's say, 56. So write that down. I'm going to make this actually look like a 5 here a little better. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to see, what? So those are both binomials. So this is a genuine algebra problem. And there's something extremely important here. See the plus sign? If you have addition going on, you can't cancel the pieces up here. Like you can't cancel the 18 and the 21, the 48 and the 56, the 48 and the 21, none of that. You can't cancel the x's, all because of this plus. So we're going to show you what you can do. Okay? And the way we go about doing this when we see this is we're going to touch base with our algebra skills and we're going to factor where possible. Okay, you guys down with that? So we're factoring here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to factor the top first. So if you remember yesterday, if you didn't tune in, you might want to now. Take a preview. So we're going to look at this and we're going to see what we can divide out of this thing. So they're both even. I'll start with 2, 9. Don't forget your variable. Don't forget your variable. Don't forget your variable. 24. Okay, hear my dogs out there making noise because someone's delivering something. All right, so what we're going to do is recognize 9 and 24 can still be divided. They can still be broken down. So I can take a 3 out. Now, if we're in a classroom setting, what we're doing is giving you a little more time. In this lesson, I'm kind of jumping the gun. So this is a very important thing for you to embrace right now. You are rewriting this top. 18x plus 48. So if you remember from factoring yesterday, you have to have two parts when you factor. You can't just use the top. You can't just use the GCF. The GCF is 3 times 2, which is 6. So what you have to do is use both of those. So I'm rewriting factored the top. I've got 6 times 3x plus 8. Okay, so that works. That represents this top, and it's equal to that top. It just looks different. Okay. So now your job is to try to factor the bottom. And when you do that, you go, oh, those aren't even. I can't use 2. And you're right. You can't. So if you think about 21, it's 1 times 21, and it's 3 times 7. That's it. But that's a good thing, because 7 goes in here. 7 also goes in there, so that's what you can use. So that, by searching the factors, you found something that will work. So 21 divided by 7 is 3. What am I going to say next? Don't forget to bring your variable up. Check. And then 56 divided by 7, hopefully you know from your times tables, is 8. And now you're right back in the exact same place. You have to have the GCF, which in this case is simply 7, and you have to include that. So when I write this, I put, 7 times 3x plus 8. I have to have both parts up here. Okay, so we factored, so we're happy with that. Okay. I'm going to erase this factor where possible. So nice to have a smart board, but I don't, so don't want it to get in the way. So you can't cancel pieces, but you can cancel where there's multiplication. They can't cancel pieces because of adding. But this is 6 times this parentheses, 7 times this parentheses. And if you look, the parentheses are exactly the same thing. So if I said reduce 4 over 4, it would be 1. 9 over 9, 1. Negative 10 over negative 10, 1. So 3x plus 8 over 3x plus 8, they cancel out to 1s because they're the exact same thing as each other. So it's dividing something by itself, you get 1. So they go away. We call it canceling. And the only thing you have left is this. So your final answer, I'll write in orange right here for this whole thing, is 6/7. That is your answer to this problem. Okay? So you factor where possible, you see if there's anything to cancel, and you go from there. All right? Okay, I think we can hammer out one more of these buggers. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do 16n squared plus 6n over, what should I put on the bottom here? 24n plus 42. Addition can't cancel parts, so I'm factoring. So let's set it up. Let's do the top here. So 16n squared, I'm going to write nn. So I wrote that carefully there. So 16 and 6, even. 8, don't forget your variables, nn. 3, don't forget your variable, n. Cool. 8 and 3, pow, there's nothing we can do with it. But this time there's n's on both of them. So since this has n's and that one, I can get rid of something. So I'm going to have another step. There's 2 here, but there's only 1 there. Remember, you got to take the same amount from each, if you remember yesterday. So I'm taking 1 n out. What's left is 8n plus 3. So you're going to hear me say this a lot. Okay, this is the make or break time. If you're using this to factor, you have to recall that you need both parts. So the GCF is 2 times n. What's left over is 8n plus 3. So you have factored, that was kind of sloppy line there. So you have factored the top and you've done it accurately. Okay. So now we'll draw a little squiggly line and we'll do the bottom. 24n plus 42. So I always use 2. Let me do something different. This time I'm going to start with 6. So 24 divided by 6 is 4. So 4n, don't forget your variable. 42 divided by 6 is 7. Oh, cool, power ready. So I got it in one step. Could have used 2 and then 3, but I did it there. Okay, so once again, gotta use both parts of this sucker. So when I rewrite this, I get 6 times 4n plus 7. Okay, guys, all right? Okay, so now it's a little different. So what I want to do is, you've seen how to do this, how to use it. Again, no smart board, so I need space. So I'm going to erase this because I want to show you how to deal with this stuff. Okay. 8n plus 3, 4n plus 7, they're not the same. They can't cancel. And here's the secret. You can't cancel the 8n and the 4n because of this addition. The plus sign prevents you from canceling pieces. You just can't do it. Okay. But this is multiplication. So what you can do is look at just this part. You can look at 2n over 6. And if I ask you to reduce that, 2/6 is the same as 1/3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. This is multiplication, so that's allowed. So this ends up being 1n over 3. So this right here replaces that lead thing there. So if I was going to write my final answer for this problem, I'm going to do it over in front of where I am. So 2n over 6 changes to 1n over 3 by reducing, dividing top and bottom by 2. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. So here is your final answer for this problem. I don't know where my red marker went. Oh well. So I've got 1n over 3, but I have to include those other parts too because they didn't cancel. So 8n plus 3, 4n plus 7. Okay, now again, just one last time, because of this addition, I can't cancel the 3's, I can't cancel this stuff. That, my friends, is your answer. So this stuff gets to be a trip. Sometimes you go through all this work and there's nothing to cancel, nothing to reduce. Sometimes plenty of it does. So the division house is a great tool. Give you a taste of algebra as you're learning this kind of stuff. It's not easy. This is just meant to give you a little supplement and enrichment and give you a heads up on some of the stuff you're missing by not being able to take part in the full school year. Okay? All right, I'm going to spin this thing again. And I'm going to say thank you for being here. And we're going to outro honoring Jerry Garcia, the Grateful Dead. And we're going to play The Deal. That was the name of it. Okay. Well, you've been missing all your friends, you're even missing school. Gonna see them all again, gonna be so cool. For now we'll stay at home, we're gonna wear a mask, even though that's a lot to ask. Gonna turn this thing around, can't let it get us down. Gonna turn this thing around, can't let it get us down. Gonna turn this thing around, can't let it get us down. No, no. Thank you. Aloha from Hawaii. Okay, see you next time.